If I could give you any advice as you're building your workout routine, it's thinking about one of the most helpful things I've added into my routine for fat loss and just overall health, feeling good. In this vlog, I'm going to be sharing all the daily habits you can start implementing if you want to lean out for 2026. I am so excited, so let's get into it. I want to start by just chatting a little bit about what it means to have a lean physique. So there's two components of it. The one that most people will think about, which is a low enough body fat percentage to be able to see your muscle mass. But of course, another important aspect of it is having enough muscle mass and enough shape to see that showing through. Personally, I need to focus on the body fat percentage side of this, and I think for most of us, getting lean enough is the main focus. So we're going to be focusing on the fat loss side of things today. At the core of any fat loss goal, we need to be in a calorie deficit, so burning more calories than we consume. You can achieve this in any way that works for you, but personally, I like calorie tracking, and I'm going to explain why quickly. I've been dabbling in calorie tracking for a couple of years now after a long period of thinking that it was literally the worst thing that you could possibly do. For me, it is actually the least restrictive and most flexible way to lose weight because I can have anything I want as long as it's in moderation and I'm able to make the math work. At the core of a calorie deficit, no matter what method you use, there has to be some level of restriction because eating less calories is how we lose fat. It is necessary to achieve this goal. The first thing I wanted to touch on, because it's been so helpful for me in staying consistent, staying motivated, daily habit tracking. Personally, I do my habit tracking digitally because I just find that to be a lot simpler, and I love that I can check my habits from my phone anywhere that I am. I don't have to have a paper or notepad or something, but I've realized over time that I have set so many goals and just forgotten about them because I haven't had a way to actually track my progress. Obviously, habit tracking is not sufficient to achieve your goals, but I do feel like it's a necessary step. Next thing I wanted to chat about is monitoring progress. So setting some kind of daily, weekly reminder to do measurements, take a progress photo, scale weight, whatever's gonna work for you. You could even do a combination. I'm lazy, so I'm just using scale weight to track fat loss, which is not the most accurate way to do it. It's more accurate if you use multiple methods. I find it so important to stay motivated, knowing that you're actually making progress and seeing that progress over time. But also it's really important because if you're not seeing progress, then you can kind of reassess, make tweaks to your plan. Okay, let's get into the fitness side of things a little bit because nutrition is very important, but having a consistent routine, building up and maintaining that muscle is important, and also the extra calories that you burn from working out do contribute to your calorie deficit. I have done the hyper-optimized, science-based, perfect workout split. I got so bored and felt so resentful of my workouts, and I just started skipping them. A couple of years ago, I decided okay, I just need to start from scratch. I tried a lot of different things and it took a while to kind of refine the split that I liked, but here's what I do now, and I feel like this is a perfect balance of optimizing but also having fun. Every single week, I will do one upper body lift and one lower body lift, and I really encourage you, especially all of my women in your 20s, 30s, weightlifting is so important. We are building our lifetime bone health now. Also during fat loss, one of the ways you can prevent muscle loss is by continuing to lift weights. That's the one thing that I feel like you gotta get that in there no matter what. But otherwise, I love to dabble. So the rest of my sessions besides my lifts during the week, I do a little bit of HIIT. Sometimes I'll do a challenge workout, so like an AMRAP or a reps challenge or a workout class or something like that. I'll do some mobility, some Pilates, some ab sessions. Sometimes I'll go for a run. I just really love to mix it up. If I could give you any advice as you're building your workout routine, it's thinking about what can I sustain for the long term? What's going to be fun and realistic and reasonable for me? Because yeah, this isn't a one and done situation. This is something that ideally would be sustainable even after fat loss so that you can keep those results you worked so hard for. Speaking of workouts, let's chat about today's session. I'm going to be doing a Pilates workout. I committed to do 5 workouts a week for the next 45 days as a part of my 45-day shred challenge. Even if you're not watching this in real time, I just feel like it's a really great way to reset, re-energize your routine, and build healthy habits. So I think it's really fun. I will link it up here in case you want to check it out. But yeah, it is Saturday. I am fresh out of rest days, okay? So that means I'm doing a workout today. That's one thing that I always try and do within my week of workouts is have some higher intensity days and some more chill days so that if I need a little bit of a break, it's there for me. The workout today is from my 8-week workout guide, Ignite, which I have been doing live in real time with you guys. I know we've chatted about it a lot by this point, but I just wanted to let you know if you're interested in picking up a copy, it is 20% off for the next couple of weeks only using the code REIgnite20. Anyway though, I am extremely sore today, but hopefully this workout will help. Maybe not, but I can hope. I am so bad at these. Really quick, before I forget, hydration is one of the easiest and highest ROI things that you can add into your routine if you are trying to lean out. Just being completely honest, it takes up a little bit of space in your stomach. So if you're trying to get into a calorie deficit, that is helpful, especially if you drink a lot of water with your meals. It helps like fill you up as you're eating, but also like it's just really good for you. I try and drink 2 of these a day, plus some electrolytes when I work out. So about 100 ounces. While we're habit stacking all of these daily habits, like throw some water in there. You know, one of the habits that I have gotten into that's made such a huge difference on just my fitness journey in general, but especially during fat loss, is getting creative and finding ways to make healthy foods genuinely fun. So if there's something you're craving, can you make a healthier version of it? Can you make a lower calorie version of it? Maybe add in a little bit more protein. Especially during the holiday season, this is one of my favorite challenges, honestly, because it is a challenge. It is hard to do sometimes. And I'm gonna be honest, not everything I make turns out well. There was one year I tried to do all like healthy Christmas cookies and they were honestly just kind of gross. I was gonna make a video about it, but I was like, I don't want anyone to try these. They're just not good. My current obsession is this gingerbread smoothie that I absolutely love to make during the holiday season. It just reminds me of a gingerbread cookie, but in a milkshake, and I'm addicted to it. I just feel like there are so many ways that you can add like a fun seasonal vibe to whatever foods you're having, just so that you can feel included, even if you do have physique goals that you're working on. And that's not to say that I don't have like full sugar, regular treats in my diet. I definitely do. But since I can really only have those things in moderation during a deficit, I try to find those healthier swaps so that I can have like more of it, have it more frequently. It's just fun. Just a bit of fun. I will list the ingredients and the macros in a single serving in case you want to make this for yourself, but I am making 2 servings because one of them is for my boyfriend. So. Ow, did you just hear my finger crack? That was like my bottom knuckle. Okay, scary. These are our secret ingredients. So ginger powder, cinnamon, and pumpkin pie spice. Just gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna eyeball it, but it's kind of hard to mess this up. I feel like I need to look you in the eyes and say this. You need to try that. That is so good. As I'm having my protein smoothie, I thought it'd be the perfect time to chat about protein and fiber, because if you get into the habit of sneaking in more protein and more fiber in your diet, first of all, protein and fiber are a little bit harder for our body to digest, which means that we net less calories overall from those foods, but also they help keep you fuller for longer, which like super helpful during fat loss, but also just nice on a regular basis. I wanted to share some of the ways that I sneak a little bit more protein and fiber into my diet. One huge key for me has been the ultra filtered whole protein milk. I will put the macros up on the screen, but you just get a lot more protein for a lot less calories, and it tastes very similar to regular whole milk, so it's still very creamy. I use that in smoothies. I make Ninja Creamies with it. If I have a bowl of cereal, I'll add it in there. I put it in my iced lattes every morning. Another thing I love adding is chia seeds. So I add them to yogurt bowls. I make chia puddings. I put them in my oatmeal. I'll even put them in water sometimes and like add a little bit of like frozen fruit or something to flavor it, and then drink chia water. It's not for everyone, but I actually kind of like the texture of it. And then of course there's protein powder. I have been loyal to the Legion brand for years now. My boyfriend introduced me to it when we were in college. I have tried vegan proteins, whey proteins, tons of different brands. I'm selective about where I use my protein powder. I mostly just use it for Ninja Creamies or smoothies. There are some things that are sacred. I'm never gonna put protein powder into my coffee. I feel like it ruins it. And does everything need to have protein in it? Absolutely not. But it is one of those things, if you can start thinking about it and getting that in your daily routine, it becomes so much easier to hit your physique goals, honestly. Personally, I like to target about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. There's lots of different calculations we could debate about, but that's just like a simple one that works really well for me. And then 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories you consume. So for most of us, we're gonna go for about 28 to 30 grams a day. I know that can sound like a lot, but it's definitely something you can build up to over time. And the closer I get to my targets, the better I feel, because I feel like my digestion is better, I'm fuller for longer, I'm able to actually feel satisfied at the end of my meal. So that's my plug for protein and fiber. And I'm so upset I forgot to put chia seeds into this smoothie. I've gotten into the habit of adding like a tablespoon of chia seeds to every smoothie, and I forgot. But anyway, and while we're here chatting about food, I wanted to share this kind of concept of anchor meals. Meals that you love that you can have on lock to help you reach your goals. So for me, two things come to mind. The first is smoothies. The other one for me is Greek yogurt bowls, okay? I will get a plain, unflavored, unsweetened, non-fat Greek yogurt. And I have a selection of like a million sugar-free Jell-O pudding mixes that I use to flavor. Just use the exact same weight. So I do 200 grams of yogurt. That is 21 grams of protein and 118 calories. And the reason I know that is because I input this into MyFitnessPal like every single day. So I basically have it memorized. I just feel like there can be this mental fatigue of finding meals that align with your goals. And I've spent so much time researching healthy recipes, and then I try and calculate the macros and figure out if it's going to be able to work. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single day. And that's why I feel like the smoothie and the yogurt bowls are great examples, because there are so many different flavor variations you can do with the same basic structure and the same kind of like macros and calories. I've probably shared a million different smoothie recipes on my channel. And I think as of right now, I have 7 different Jell-O pudding mixes: butterscotch, chocolate, pistachio, cheesecake, banana pudding, and lemon. I was close. That's 6. Oh no, it was 7. I just bought an Oreo flavored one, which is incredible, by the way. All this talk about yogurt bowls, I need to make a yogurt bowl. And I actually wanted to chat a little bit about meal prep and how having healthy foods ready to go in your fridge, easy to grab, makes it so much easier to stick to your goals, which is still true. But I actually don't have any jars. All of them are dirty and need to be washed. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm too lazy to wash them all right now. So I'm just gonna show you a single serve. But if I was smart, I would make a week's worth of these little yogurts in different flavors and have them ready to go in the fridge. Because I find the more healthy options you have around in your environment, the easier it is to make healthy choices. So this has been my recent obsession: Oreo cheesecake. Are we having an earthquake? My camera is like wobbling. It's fine. I grew up in Southern California, so I'm desensitized to earthquakes. No, not really. I'm actually super afraid of them. You can see the little cookies and cream bits. And that is an Oreo cheesecake, Greek yogurt. Is that a smudge? Hold on a second. Okay. One of the most helpful things I've added into my routine for fat loss and just overall health, feeling good, is staying active day to day, especially with just more walking. For a while I had a walking pad and I would put it under my standing desk and I would work at the same time and walk. That was so nice. Back when I was in my initial fat loss journey where I lost 30 pounds a couple years ago, I would go to the gym, get on the treadmill for like 2 hours and just scroll on my phone. Nowadays, I'm not quite that intense, but I still really do love going on neighborhood walks, getting some morning sunlight in first thing in the day. That's really helpful. After I wrap up this video, we're actually gonna go to a friend's house and hang out, and they happen to be in our neighborhood. Me and my boyfriend are gonna walk instead of drive just to get a little bit of extra activity in. Every little bit counts, and if you have a physique goal, these little things add up. The stupid things we hear all the time, like park a little further away at the grocery store, making it a habit that you always take the stairs, for example, instead of the escalator. Over years and years of doing that, it really does add up, and there are compound effects to it, you know? Just saying. The last thing I wanted to talk about before I leave you is something a little bit unhinged, but it has been invaluable to my fat loss journey, and it would be a disservice not to tell you about it. Staying busy. At the beginning of my fat loss journey, I would sit on my couch all day thinking about food, thinking about how hungry I was, would not end up doing super well that day because I had to use so much willpower and discipline to stick to my deficit. I found that the more I stayed distracted, stayed busy, hung out with friends, watched a movie, played on my phone, doesn't have to be productive stuff I was doing necessarily, but as long as I was engaged with something else, that made it so much easier to stick to my deficit. Also, just from a kind of like holistic wellness perspective, I really do think that it's healthy to have interests, passions, hobbies, things that bring you joy outside of food. So speaking of, I'm actually about to head over to my friend's house to watch a movie. Thought it'd be fun to show you what I'm bringing with me in terms of snacks. I get the Liquid Death sparkling waters at Costco. I'm obsessed with them. 10 calories a can. It's basically like if a root beer and a sparkling water had a baby. I'm not sure exactly what I'll do in the chips department, but I think I'm gonna bring this cheddar cheese spread from Trader Joe's. And these are actually pretty good. You can have 11 for 80 calories. It's always fun to do like a chip and dip situation moderation, but I also love the Kindling protein pretzels. 130 calories, 8 grams of protein per serving. Anyway though, those are my daily habits to get lean for 2026. These are the things that I've been implementing and focusing on. There's so much more we could talk about in the world of fat loss, so if you have any questions or specific requests, let me know. But I wanted to try for this video to pick things that maybe you hadn't been thinking about, hadn't heard as much, because a lot of the times it does come down to the basics, but I feel like we've heard the basics so many times by this point. I wanted to try and share things that might be more of an unlock for you, things that you hadn't thought about. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I'm gonna be taking you along with me for the rest of this 45-day challenge leading up to the new year. I'm so excited. I'm having so much fun doing this together. If you've been joining me for the challenge, let me know how it's going. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you did enjoy it and you'd like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every week, and I will see you next time.